angel. I have a thing that I really want to share with you. Some of the little friends of your age called me and said, Mom, what is you who told us a story? Mom, you tell us this story, this one, and this one too. You know, those little friends always wanted to have a home. And like that, as I call myself when I talk to you, they call me Mom too. I believe you will soon experience this feeling like me, when you try to do something and you do it just for the sake of it, for no other purpose, and you get surprising results, lovely incentives. That feeling is incredible. So my list of stories has been added to more titles. For now, let's return to Totto-chan. It could be great if Totto-chan could study at a school as she wished, even between trees, flowers, and untouched nature. Do you think like me? Then let us move to the next chapter. The headmaster. When Mother and Totto-chan went in, the man in the office got up from his chair. His hair is thin on top, and he had a few teeth missing, but his face was a healthy color. Although he wasn't very tall, he had solid shoulders and arms, and was neatly dressed in a shabby black three-piece suit. With a hasty bow, Totto-chan asked him spiritedly, What are you, a schoolmaster or a station master? Mother was embarrassed, but before she had time to explain, he laughed and replied, I'm a headmaster of this school. Totto-chan was delighted. Oh, I'm so glad, she said. I want to ask you a favor. I want to come to your school. The headmaster offered her a chair and turned to Mother. You may go home now. I want to talk to Totto-chan. Totto-chan felt a little bit uneasy, but somehow she thought she would get along all right with the headmaster. Well, then I leave her with you, Mother said bravely and shut the door behind her as she went out. The headmaster drew over a chair and put it facing Totto-chan, and when they were both sitting down close together, he said, Now then, tell me about you. Tell me anything at all you want to talk about. Anything I like? Totto-chan had expected him to ask questions she would have to answer. When he said she could talk about anything she wanted, she was so happy she immediately began. It was all a bit hickory-pickory, but she spoke for all she was worth. She told the headmaster how fast the train weather day had come on, how she had asked the train conductor, but she wouldn't let her keep her ticket, how pretty her homeroom teacher was at the other school, about a squirrel nest, about that brown dog Rocky who could do all sorts of tricks, how she used to go snip-snip with the scissors inside her mouth at the kindergarten, and the teacher said she mustn't do that because she might cut her tongue off, but she did it anyway. How she always blew her nose because Mother scolded her if it was runny. What a good swimmer Daddy was, and how he could dive as well. She went on and on. The headmaster would laugh, nod, and say, and then? And Totto-chan was so happy she kept right on talking. But finally, she ran out of things to say. She sat with her mouth closed, trying hard to think of something. Haven't you anything more you can tell me? Asked the headmaster. What a shame to stop now, Totto-chan thought. It was such a wonderful chance. Wasn't there anything else she could talk about? She wondered, racking her brain. And then she had an idea. She could tell him about the dress he was wearing that day. Mother made most of her dresses, but this one came from a shop. Her clothes were always torn when she came home in the late afternoon. Some of the ribs were quite bad. Mother never knew how they got that way. Even her white cotton panties were sometimes in shreds. She explained to the headmaster that they got torn when she crossed other people's garden by crawling under the fences, and when she burrowed under the barbed wire around vacant lots. So this morning, she said, when she was getting dressed to come here, all the lovely dresses Mother had made were torn. She had to wear the one Mother had bought. It had small dark red and gray checks and was made of jersey, and this wasn't bad. But Mother thought the red flowers embroidered on the collar were in bad taste. Mother doesn't like the collar, said Totto-chan, holding it up for the headmaster to see. After that, she could think of nothing more to say, no matter how hard she tried. It made her rather sad. But just then, the headmaster got up, placed his large, warm hand on her head, and said, "Well, now you are a pupil of this school." Those were his very words. At that moment, Totto-chan felt she had met the one she really liked for the very first time of her life. You see, up till then, no one had ever listened to her for so long, and all of the time, the headmaster hadn't yawned once or looked bored, but seemed just as interested in what she had to say as she was. Totto-chan hadn't learned how to tell time yet, but it did seem like a relative long time. If she had been able to, she would have been astonished and even more grateful to the headmaster. For, you know, Mother and Totto-chan arrived at school at 8, and when she had finished talking, and the headmaster had told her she was a pupil of the school, he looked at his pocket watch and said, "Ah, it's time for lunch." So the headmaster must listen to Totto-chan for 4 solid hours. Neither before or since did any grown-up listen to Totto-chan for as long as that. And besides, it could have amazed Mother and her homeroom teacher to think that a 7-year-old child could find enough to talk about for 4 hours non-stop. Totto-chan had no idea then, of course, that she had been expelled and that people were at their wits' end to know what to do. Having a naturally sunny disposition and being absent-minded gave her an air of innocence. But deep down, she felt she was considered different from the other child and slightly strange. The headmaster, however, made her feel safe and warm and happy. She wanted to stay with him forever. That's how Totto-chan felt about Headmaster Kobayashi Sosaku that first day. And in the opposite direction, the headmaster felt the same about her. Today's story time is ending. I wish my little angel a good night's sleep. And by the way, the weather this day is erratic. Remember to take care of your health. With good health, you can do many things you want. See you at the next story time.